So welcome to a brand new webisode. Probably should have turned the light on beforehand. It's Tuesday afternoon. I'm working on a Wednesday show. And I'm just on a website that pulls together a bunch of news stories from the day. Right? Let me just run through some of the headlines here, because it makes me laugh. Let me just read them for you. Wisconsin University allegedly labels professor's movie poster unacceptable and removes it. So this Wisconsin professor put a poster of, it's from Firefly, the short-lived television show, and then the movie Serenity that came out, which is a great movie, by the way. And it shows the lead character, and on the bottom it says, "You don't know me, son, so let me explain this to you once. If I ever kill you, you'll be awake. You'll be facing me, and you'll be armed." So, somebody came by and took the poster down, which has caused all kinds of problems, First Amendment issues, obviously, with all of this. And that's just one. Okay, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let me go back on the page here. So one of the other stories today was that Ford yanked an ad. Have you seen the Ford ads where they bring in the new owners of a Ford into a room and they're interviewed by people? Well, in this particular ad, one of the individuals interviewed about his Ford said, I decided I would never buy my company from a car that was given a bailout from the United States of America. So apparently, pressured by the White House, they pulled this ad. That's the word that we're hearing. So let's see, what else do we got here? Philly man describes alleged racially charged mob attack. We got you, you white mother effer. Let's see. Heckler interrupts Obama fundraiser. You're the Antichrist. What else do we have? This is a good one. Iran threatens to deploy Navy off U.S. coast. Fantastic. Let's see. Typewriting monkeys actually complete a Shakespeare work. Oh, Van Jones. He's been my favorite as of late. He says the Tea Party is fighting to take away civil rights and the middle class so rich people don't have to pay America back for making them rich. Oh, what else do we have? We have the Sheila Jackson Lee that we played on the show this morning, telling the right media and blogs to shut up and stop playing racial politics. And then seconds later, she says Obama's Buy America should be Buy African American, thus kind of being a hypocrite. Michael Moore, to Days of Rage protesters. It warms my heart to see all of you here. UK schools ban witches, black hats for promoting racism among children. I look, the insanity just goes on and on and on. Canadian MP photoshopped for revealing too much cleavage. I've been saying this on the show lately, but it's so true. Just stop the world. I want to get off. Here's the reality of all of this. You probably could craft an argument that says we are living in a different time and people are becoming more brazen, and certainly from the left are becoming more honest. Now, all the stories that I read weren't sort of anti-radical progressive. Most of them were. Some of them were just outright stupidity. Somebody calling Obama the Antichrist is really, really dumb. But my point is, you could make an argument that says things have gotten worse and people have gotten more honest and brazen. And I think there's some merit to saying that. Certainly coming from, both the left and the right. But I think the reality is, this goes back to sort of the people getting involved in how awake everybody's become. It's as someone who works in talk radio and has to prep every day, I go to a handful of websites that compile news stories for me, whether it's Memorandum or Dig or Cracked.com, in this case The Blaze. You have a lot of different entities that are out there searching for items. And a lot of times now, these aren't even news stories pulled from a news source. These are people that have taken videos. So you're getting a lot more information than you would have in the past. I think people were always this way. I think most politicians were always this way. We're just getting a better exposure over the buffoonery that some of these elected officials and quasi-celebrities are saying than we have before. The reality is that they haven't changed, just as we're hearing about it more now. I guess my hope would be that this will turn and turn out to give us a better brand of politician. People will choose their words more wisely, or we will be able to see those lines drawn even further between right and left. I'm seeing this sense of middle ground going away, and that's not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion. Partisan politics is overrated, to be honest with you. There's far right and there's far left, or there's just left and right. But with so many of the politicians constantly under the microscope, you're no longer able to go to somebody's home and have a speaking engagement without potentially somebody catching you on tape. So either they're going to find out who you really are, or you're going to remain guarded in there, and they're not going to find out who you really are. In the meantime, we're hearing about it, and we have more access to information than ever. At the end of the day, what is this going to result in? Is this going to result in a complete shift to the right, given what's going on in the country right now? Is this going to simply result in a moderate, some would say rhino, GOP candidate beating Obama, and a shift back to the center right nation that most people still say we are? Or is the worst going to happen, and that is Obama's able to pull off at this point an upset and be in office for another 4 more years with the ability to do untold amounts of damage, given the fact that he won't have to worry about being reelected again. I just don't know. I do like the fact that we have this much exposure, and it certainly does, if you're paying attention, put things into perspective. You begin to understand a little bit more of the opposition, and the fact that it really just comes down to no set standard and a lot of hypocrisy. I mean, when you go over some of these comments made, the hypocrisy coming from Sheila Jackson Lee. I mean, even something as stupid as Canadian MP Photoshop for revealing too much cleavage. Most people would have never even heard about that story or found out, but now you're going to know about it. Michael Moore and his comments. Lesbian actress escorted off a Southwest flight for excessive affection with partner. So what? Again, we would have never heard about that 5 years ago. Now we hear about everything. I think it does create a better informed public, but it also becomes more frustrating because you begin to see just how stupid people really are. Perhaps, maybe, ultimately, as I try to craft some sort of point with all of this, perhaps, maybe this will be the thing that does bring down liberalism, because people will finally realize that you're never going to be able to create that utopian society on Earth. Peace is not possible. It's a fallacy. You do the best you can, but ultimately your freedom and your liberty are your most important and treasured values and personal responsibility. And maybe they'll see enough buffoonery and idiotic statements and hypocrisy in themselves that they'll go, hey, you know what? We're never going to fix this, including ourselves. I think conservatives learned that a long, long time ago. I do have hope, however. I have hope because I'm friends with people like James D. Harris, who I had a chance to spend some time with today, who's finally in town and starts on Monday. We had a chance to sit down and talk, and I'm really excited about him getting his show off the ground. I have hope for the future in young people like Katie Pavlich, who spend an hour and a half on the show and is out there, not only making a name for herself, making a living for herself, pursuing her dreams and career, but also trying to make a difference at the same time, I think. And it's encouraging to see that. So, I don't know. I was just going, I wanted to record a webisode today. I was going through these headlines and I was just like, again, stop the world. I want to get off. But yet it's like a car wreck. I can't look away. So, and I have a lot of material for tomorrow's show. I think I'll start with the photoshopped picture. So, just kidding. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. Bye.